Thank you for joining me again here on Carpathian Countryside for episode 29 with me, MrSealyp. I just thought I'd show you before I move on to the content for today's episode, getting on with the contracts I've taken on the second one on field 10, using this, the Writer Respiro that I was using in the previous episode. This time I've split it, so normally you have swath left, right or central. This one you've got left, right or either side. So again, I just wanted to show you using it. I don't know how many bales I've left over at the end of the two contracts I'm doing, but I'll probably show you that during the episode anyway. But yeah, I just thought I'd show you. I just thought it was cool. Didn't show it in the last episode, so there you go. It's October 1, I'm sorting out the chipboard for today. We are up by the olives and the grapes. The board has lit up like a Christmas tree. It's going to be a busy couple of days. I'm not going to get all done in this episode. We have got our corn field is ready to harvest. We'll get on that. I've got 2 sunflower fields. No, actually, which way around was it? 2 cornfields and a sunflower field I've taken contracts on. Welcome to the 4th circle of Helianthus. And if we go back to our growth, our olives and our grapes are all ready to harvest. Everything at the same time. We have also got the original field 9, which we then lost control of. That's got soybean on it, which is ready to harvest, but I haven't had the contract come up for that. So I'm hoping while I'm doing the other ones, when I complete one, that will appear, because that's a big field. We should, in inverted commas, get left with a little bit after that. I have got today's grape juice, grape seed. I've got some more bestie belts, and we've got another bestie shoes box as well. That's all going to go over to be sold. And it's time to grab some headers because we're going to need a corn header. I'm going to try out some headers I haven't used before, on one that I don't use very often. And I think we've only got a couple in game now. We haven't had any modded ones. I'm trying to think. I don't think we have. Actually, to be fair, I only looked in corn headers, not in regular headers. But Helianthus headers. I'm going to use the Helianthus header. You don't technically need to, because there are a few headers now with the tool height control for headers, and there's a couple of headers that are out there, corn headers. As well as in the Colossus pack, I think, has got a corn header that allows you to run at a faster speed. The basic premise being that a standard corn header would normally run at 6 miles an hour. A Helianthus header, which is specifically for sunflowers, will run at 9. So it was a lot, you can run it faster. But there are so many options now. So I thought I'm going to have a go with the Helianthus header. And the corn headers I'm looking at are, who are they by? I have got them, it's in the description. I think it's Alife. It's the Capello Quasar pack. But if we come over here, we have bushy vines of grapes, and we have on our olive trees now, we have olives. So I'm going to be getting the shaker. That's going to be the next episode, I think. Next episode we'll come up here. We'll use some more stuff from the pack. Rather than the self-propelled grape harvester, there's the trailed one in that pack, which I'm going to give a go. Again, why not try some stuff? And then we've got the tree shaker, which I've never got to this point on any of the maps where I put these trees in. I've always finished the Let's Play before they've been ready to harvest. So my harvesters are both over at the store ready for headers. I might need to lease some header trailers as well, but I'm going to maximise what money I've got available by selling everything I've got today. Hence why I was up here getting rid of today's wood chip. So I'll see you down at the transport company with my trailers to sell what I've got. We'll then pull into the store sort out headers, and we'll crack on. I'm going to probably do the contract harvests first. I'm going to put, I've only got, because I've got the 2 harvesters, so I'm going to put a corn header on one and a helianthus header on the other. Now, like I said, I could just get 2 corn headers, because the corn headers will do sunflower as well. But I thought, why not? Again, haven't used one for a while. I'll do the sunflower harvest, and then if I've still got more corn that needs harvesting at that point, I might get a second one for the second harvester. But as it stands, that's the plan. Just while I'm heading out the yard on the way up to the store, we have got our first load of premium potatoes and starch on here as well. Now, I could keep hold of them if I was going to do some other productions through our new potato processing unit, but as it stands, I haven't got any other things to put in there, so I'm going to sell what I've got. And the hay contract that I took on the end of the last episode, I took another one on field 10, so I had the 2 going. I completed both contracts and was left with 32 hay bales off those 2 fields. Insane. I can put them in storage, which I probably will do. I just dropped them off here when I completed the contracts, and I've put 3 over here so that these will automatically, the bottom one is showing at 5,114 and the bales are actually 7,250s, so this will gradually take them. I haven't got to keep coming back. I say keep coming back, it's not really much of a problem. I've got a load of grass in there, but I thought while I've got the hay bales from that contract, I'll stick them here. That can continue chug away. It will gradually take from those for feeding our sheep, and they're not going to be far off reproducing soon as well anyway. So what I will do at some point, I'm considering actually buying a new telehandler. I know I bought the one from the store because it was there, it was cheap, I had quite a few hours on it, that kind of thing. I haven't had one come up. Well, I was really hoping one would by now, but it hasn't. So I might buy a bigger telehandler, simply because that one's a little bit slow. It does the job, it's absolutely fine. The other thing I'm going to need to do as well, because I've now got harvesting contracts available, is these trailers I'm going to switch back over to have a capacity rather than bale trailers. So I've got my lorry, and then I've got these as well. So I'll see you at the store in a minute. We'll get rid of all this, and yeah, then it's on to headers. All in a day's work, I have made another decision while I was driving over here, and what I've just made has sealed the deal. My premise, I said right at the start, was building up machinery, and I had my 4 harvesters. I went from 4 back down to 2 because I wanted bigger harvesters, larger capacity, and I said I would build that back up again. I'm going to get a 3rd harvester. I've been kind of maintaining a buffer. I've been maintaining about 500,000 in the account, and we're buying the various different production chains, which we've done over the last few episodes. And as I drove up here, I thought, well, I'll make a bit of money on this. We've got some headers we need to lease, but why not? Let's do that. Actually, I could probably change them over up here. I have. Right, so into the store. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Why not? Let's get a 3rd harvester. Those are me saying I was going to get a telehandler. I haven't actually looked to see what we got. Oh, I've been looking at a mower for a while. Oh, how bizarre is that? Helianthus header. It's only a 5.7 metre. 50%, 52% off. That Kong's killed her. 71% off for a 12.3 metre mower. So anyway, right, we want harvesters. I can't remember what I went for. I think it's just standard across the board. I'll take license plate off. Let's buy it. I've lost my mind. So, Helianthus headers. We've got a couple of choices here. That's the one that's available with a little bit of money off. Well, it's down to 15 grand, so it's pretty good. Or we've got, where is it? That one, look, 12 metre. That'll make light work of some fields, won't it? So I'm going to lease that. And then corn headers. Actually, I can get two now then, can't I? Because I have one harvester running sunflower. And then corn, because I've got my field and a corn contract. So, the Capellos, I've always liked them. They're cool headers anyway. The Diamond 12, there was a modded Diamond 16. That one there, the HS16, 12 metre. But the pack I was looking at by Alife, obviously there's these ones here. If you go for the Titan corn headers and you go for the unrealistic, that'll run at the speed of your harvester. And if you've got the Colossus pack harvester, you can run it at 43 miles an hour. But what I'm looking at are Diamond 8, Diamond 12, where are we here? HS16, HS20 and a HS24 18 metre header. I don't know if that might be a little bit too much. Might be a bit too much for the harvesters. But 15s, and they're red already for the Rossel mash. How much are they to lease? Oh, you know what? Let's do it. I mean, they fold, but they're still going to be quite big, aren't they? Oh, let's get it on. This is going to be awesome. I'm going to need a header trailer for that because that's going to be too wide. Possibly to fit out the... Oh, actually, that's a good point. Will they go out the gate? Let's give it a try. So as far as header trailers go then, I'm going to need to sort one out. Right, anyway, I'll sort the header trailers out. I'll see you in a minute. Where's the ones I have been using? The Demcos. I quite like those. That's the larger one, isn't it? Oh, I don't want a 60 feet. Let's lease that. Just thinking, is there a specific one for corn headers, or they just go on the regular ones, don't they? I'll give it a go through the gate and see how we go. Assuming, of course, these harvesters will even run them. They're going to be too... It doesn't give a horsepower requirement. Stalk stompers on them as well. Oh, look at that. Can I get out of the gate? Definitely get these beacons on. Could probably do with the police escort. Oh, these are fine. It's the other one that's going to... Okay. So... One of these is going to go to my field. Oh, hang on, I'm splitting myself a little bit thin here, aren't I? No, I'll have two running on the cornfields. Again, I've got to remember what were they. So I've got corn, was that one and that one, wasn't it? Yep, that one and that one. So they're quite close to each other, so I can have the lorry, if I needed to, bounce between. I'll have them two on one, two on the other. And then I'll get the Helianthus on that one. I'm going to see you the fields in a minute. This is going to be an interesting journey out, isn't it? There might have to be a bit of dodging traffic going on. The reason I waited till the time I have, 8:24, it was pouring with rain. And it wasn't particularly light, because we're into October now, so the sun doesn't come fully up now. So I had to wait until the weather was more conducive to harvesting. Awesome. I'm now thinking, can I get through the gateways on the railroad? Probably. We're prepped, we're ready. Everything is in place, I think. Lorry up here, because I've got two corn harvest to do. Over the brow of the hill and the next hill over, I've got my 5 smaller trailers converted. I was just looking at buying another trailer actually. which I might do actually. That's an upgrade for possibly another time. But anyway, Helianthus header, that was interesting getting out here. That longer header trailer, because the Helianthus header is quite long, bottomed out as I went over the railway track. Blimey, did I have a game getting over there. I didn't record it, so sorry about it. But anyway, bigger headers. These were quite weighty on the front. When I went over any dip that went down that way, I was very light on the rear axle, so we'll see how this works out. I'm going to send the first one off. Oh, oops, wrong way. That's what I want to do. Unfold it. I'm going to send this one this way, and then I'm going to go the other way. I just need a bit of space to get into the field. I could have gone with 8. I'm just thinking now. No, I don't know if I could have got away with 18 meters. Okay, well, it's running it. It's harvesting. It's doing what it should be. I'm going to set a worker off on that one. It seems like it's taken forever. I suppose because the first few harvests, the first 3 years, I skipped from harvest to harvest. I bounced ahead quite a lot to get to the harvest. So from planting seeds, and we did the weeds, we jumped to harvest. Because between 3 and 4, and when 4 started and we started doing our harvesting, we did our wheat and that kind of stuff, I've done a few other jobs in between, and we've put the great processing, all those different units in, and I've been doing work with that. That's probably why it feels like it's taken a lot longer to get to this point. But that's not a bad thing either. You know, like I said, I felt I was missing something. That's just that element I was missing out on. And I also, well, I said very early on in this, didn't I? When I was skipping ahead, it just felt very alien to me. I was always very much, you know, if you've done this, this and this, and you're waiting for harvest, you then move on to other projects and you find other things to do. And then it reaches a point where you are literally finding things to do. You're just anything to do. So skipping ahead was the obvious way to go, but it just felt very strange. And then as I've got 3 years in, and I hadn't really done any production change at all, I was very like I said before, I missed it. I missed doing them. I wanted to get some in, but I also wanted to do something different that I hadn't done before, and that's why I chose the great processing stuff. Because I hadn't touched that. Well, can't have that. Can I not have that? If I get if I lease a third corn header once all the contracts work's done, 3 harvesters with a header this size on my cornfield, we could have done it in no time. That's why I'm really wanting that field 9 to come up, because field 9 was the field we had originally with our first 2 harvesters, then 3, then 4 of the smaller harvesters, and it was taking me a few hours to do harvests on there. I want to get 3 harvesters on there, these ones, and see how quickly I can get a harvest done. Admittedly, I didn't do a soybean harvest on there before, but I just think it would be fascinating to see. I want to get at least 1 round done on with this to give myself a bit of breathing space for turning, and then I can set the workers off a little bit better, and then we can get onto the Helianthus header. As that again, it's a one-trick pony, and I guess it's why a lot of people kind of not steer clear of them, because it's that weird thing, isn't it, that because a corn header will do both, and the Helianthus header just does sunflower, but it does sunflower faster. It was always that thing of, if you wanted to do it a little bit quicker, you'd go for a Helianthus header. But as far as buying them, you would generally have a normal header and you would get a corn header, assuming you were going to do a lot of all those crops. But like I said, with FS22, I think FS19 a little bit as well, because there are more headers coming out that run at a faster speed, and with various different mods and adaptability of it, you can run at faster speeds. We are filling up these really quickly. I suppose because the header's quite wide, so quite wide, and I've come the wrong way around, haven't I? Okay. And the other one will have hit the bottom and turned, and it'll be the wrong way around as well. So I'll get the lorry out, get these unloaded. Once I can set the workers off on these. there's me thinking I've got 77,500 litre trailer. I'll have to do a couple of trips. Maybe not. Right, I'm going to go and go grab the lorry. So our other cornfield we've got to do is directly opposite to the south, and then the helianthus or the sunflower one is over the next ridge over, so another field over. I got greedy. I'm going to keep checking to see. So there's another sugar beet one there, look. No. I know I said in the, was it last episode, all the weeds that were everywhere, and I hadn't had a single weeding contract come up. Hit October, and as it got to the point where all the harvest contracts became available, there were about 7 weeding contracts. They popped up and disappeared immediately. And again, it's because I'm running 2-day months. I think if I was running 3 or 4-day months, they would stay on there longer. It's just the nature of the way I'm doing it, unfortunately, but I can't do a lot about it. Well, I could run more day months, but then it's a lot more skipping ahead and it makes life a lot more complicated. Depends how you like running your farms. Like I said, some people will run it on more day months but speed up time, and you know, we've had that conversation before, right? So that going. Let's unload. Unload? No, load up. Unloading the harvester, loading up the trailer. Yes. And here is the problem I have. When you're running 3 harvesters, all with big headers, I can't keep up with unloading them. And that's just come up. I've literally unloaded one, set the other one off, and it's now come up saying 80% full. So I'm up at the helianthus field. This one here, this one to our north is ready to harvest, but I haven't had a contract come up on that one yet. So I've got my trailers all this side of the road. It's just the light's terrible that way around, isn't it? All there, lined up. I think we're going to be filling these up quite a lot. So what I've got to do is get across the road, get this loaded on, connected without obstructing the traffic, which I don't think is going to work because that car's going to turn in, isn't it? Wait. Middle there. Sorry. Crack it straight on. Crack-a-lacking. There you go, well, because he's got a full grain tank and I've only just started on here. Good grief, okay. Well, that's very high, isn't it? With 9 miles an hour. Should make fairly light work of this. Probably shouldn't be turning like that. So what I've got to do now, there's been a lot of bouncing backwards and forwards here, isn't there? It's funny, isn't it? Because you look at it and think, say 3 miles an hour, but someone mentioned once before when I said about that, that's the 3rd faster. If you're on at 6, 9 miles an hour, that's the 3rd again faster, or half again, I suppose, if you think at 6 miles an hour, that's 50% more on top. And it really does seem to make it, when you're going along now, I'm thinking, wow, this seems really fast. We're going at 10 now down the hill, but yeah, I guess technically it is. That is sitting very high. Like I said, I don't generally, I can't remember the last time I used a helianthus header. So it's that thing of, I can't remember if they normally sit this high. I guess they do because of, they're taking the heads off. Anyway, well, I'm going to have to set a worker off on this as well, aren't I? And then get back over and unload, so it's going to be bouncing backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards to keep these all running. What have I done? Yeah, get a 3rd harvest, they said. It'll be fine, they said. Imagine getting 4. I've done it before, but generally speaking, if I get larger headers, I've normally got bigger tanks as well. If I go for like the XPR2 or some of the John Deeres that got to sort of 29,000 litres, you get a little bit more leeway. With these only being 12 and a bit, you don't get as much wiggle room. And that's the second cornfield just opposite. That's right, isn't it? Yeah, I'm sure it is. This is going to be full as well soon. Blimey. Right. So I'll set this up here because it's a straight line up here, straight shot up the hill. And I'll go and unload. I'm really enjoying it. Keeps me out of mischief, doesn't it? First full unload for corn. Both the corn contracts I've got are at the Sell Everything, which is just up here. As I was driving out here, I was talking about the harvesters and about having 3 now and the wider headers. If you think back to my original 4 harvesters, the header widths were about 5 metres. Yeah, they were about 5 metres each one. So if you take into account, let's start unloading that. Make sure the money doesn't go up now. If you take that into account, the 3 harvesters I'm running now, the 2 corn headers are 15 metres each, and the Helianthus header is a 12.5, was it? Or 12. So that equates to 8 of my other harvesters. If each one was about 5 metres, 2 15s, yeah. So I'm working the equivalent of 8 harvesters with 3. That's brilliant. If I get a 4th one, but I say running bigger headers. I mean that's the thing about it. The smaller harvesters can't cope with them. The pipes aren't as long. The tank capacities aren't as big. So whilst my harvesters don't have very big tank capacities, we have in effect replaced the equivalent of 8 harvesters. That's crazy. Both of my corn harvesters are full. My Helianthus harvester's going to be full as well. Ah, dearie me. And of course, I'm on field 19 at the moment. I can't remember which one I'm on. So because both of the corn contracts are coming here, when I get to the end and you would normally have whatever's left over you would get paid for, what will happen is, because it's both corn, both the same sell point, that will then take whatever's left over for the start of, or to fulfill the next corn contract. So I won't find out how much I've got left over, if I've got any left over, until I complete the second field. When I complete the second field and bring everything, then it'll be the 2 combined, which is absolutely fine. So ain't nothing to it but to do it. Let's get the rest of this done, and then I can get cracking on my own cornfield. And then once I've got all the corn, again, I think if I've done it right, I'll have the required parts to use that pig food mixer in the big silo building, and we'll put some in there. We'll mix some pig food up, have a bit of a play around with that, and we'll get a few pigs. That was always the kind of, corn was what I was short of. I think the other thing that I might be very short of, I'm sure sorghum was one of the constituent parts, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Even if we only run a small batch of pig food, I just want to use that pig food mixer. I know there's loads of pig food mixers out there, but it's built in, it's there on the map, so that's what I want to do. There we go, Helianthus full. No! Although, we are making very light work of this, which is phenomenal. So by the end of the episode, I want to have these corn contracts done, I want to have my cornfield done, and I want to know how much corn I've got. That's kind of, these headers are actually bordering on. If I'd have gone for the 18, it would have been wider than the pipe. I mean, you can come at an angle to unload, of course you can, but I mean, it's very close to being too much. So this is the second load of the sunflower harvest. Haven't got a full load this time, but this should complete it. There's some weird things going on with the two corn harvests. I'm not sure what usually happens, hasn't happened. I'm not going to go into detail, because every time I say, you know, on a video, this has happened, people say, oh yeah, but it's supposed to do this or this, or yeah, it does that all the time. It's not something I've experienced before. It's weird, but hopefully by the time I finish the contract on the field I'm on, it will all rectify itself. That's the theory. And we'll see how we get on with this, whether we have any left over, because I'm not sure we will. It's very odd at the moment. We've gone definitely into the next hour, so as far as let's get a little bit tighter there. Yeah, as far as what it's cost me, it's gone up a little bit, but that's all right. Such a big field, I'm surprised at how little it looks like we're going to have left over on this. I'm very surprised. Oh, there we go. Okay. 9,515 litres of sunflower. I'll take that. We have got a small... What was that was going to happen? Too tight on the wall, didn't we? Just sort it out. I'm getting frustrated. Can you tell? Right, it was my harvester, my stuff, so I can collect on that. So I've got another one there for sunflower, and I've got the header, and that sort of soybean one hasn't popped up yet, but it's a risk. It's a much smaller field, it shouldn't take too long. I don't know if I'll have much left over, if anything, on that one either, but I could take it on, couldn't I? I've got all the gear still. Oh, it's not going to take long. We'll do that. Now I've got to work out how I can get this out. I've just come way too close to the wall, haven't I? Yep. This is going to be interesting. That's not going to want to know, is it? So the only thing I can do now, if I release the rear one, get all those out. Yep, we're stuck on the wall. There we go. Right, I'll come back for the other one in a minute. Right. So I've got, there we go, another full grain tank. So my second cornfield is nearly done. And then it'll be everything over to my field. But I'm going to get that sunflower harvest. Oh, I've got to bring that. The anther said I'm pretty sure field 11 is this one just down here to the south of us. Long thin field, like I say, it won't take too long. It's going to be like 2 or 3 passes with that header. I've got to get back across the railroad tracks, haven't I? What joy! I'm going to pull this across this side of the road, then I'll go back to the other header, the other trailer in a moment. Pop that there. Do that. Right. Let's go. Okay, so here's where we're at. We've got 68,447 litres of corn off of the second field. Everything is cleared, both fields. And here's the weird thing. I know it happens sometimes. We enter a quantum realm and, you know, things don't exist and do exist and all at the same time and that kind of thing. So field 19 I cleared completely. I delivered, and every time I delivered, it came up with the progress complete, and it said 100% delivered. That contract is sitting at 82%. Now normally when you clear a field completely, it will go to 80%, and then you deliver, you know, you deliver whatever you've got to deliver to fulfill the contract. Field 32, the other field, is completely clear and is sitting at 78%. So I'm really confused now, because that one had already said I'd delivered 100%. So all I'm going to do now is see what happens. How long it's going to take before it comes up saying contract complete, and will it complete both? Will it do or is it going to take everything? How is contract on field 11? Oh, that's next to me. Oh, that just happened by accident. I was like, what does that even mean? 83% field 32. Come on, this is ridiculous. This is not making any sense at all. So this should come up contract complete. Now both. What is right? Contract complete, contract complete. I've delivered everything. Both fields are completely clear, and the contracts haven't completed. I'm at the sell everything container. So now all the corn I've got left over, 29,635 litres. I've been paid for, so I can't deliver any more here. Both contracts, 19. I knew something had gone wrong. 19 and 32 are both done. Because if 19 wasn't finished delivering, that would now be taking corn for 19. Both are done. That's saying 82, that's saying 83, and they're not complete. But they are. There's nothing left on either field. And the problem is now, if I cancel them, I'll fail them and I'll get fined for not... I don't understand what's going on here. This hasn't happened since the game first came out, and there were some issues with contracts not completing. And I haven't had an issue on this map at all with completing a contract. I'm going to throw the drone up. And we're going to whiz over. Because again, for my own sanity, so this here is field 19, which is still flashing. We go across the field. There's not a scrap of corn left on this field. Nothing. There's nothing left to harvest. It's all done. Field 32. What might have overrun there? Is this one. Not a scrap of corn on it. And as you've already seen, it's fully delivered, and it then started paying me for... I don't understand. Okay. Don't know what to do at this point, because I could get absolutely clobbered here, couldn't I? Just going to do this again. Hang on a minute. Yeah, they haven't changed. I wonder whether I need to save the game and come out and come back, or... I'm not prepared to pay a fine on those. I've done them. We'll take the other corn harvester over, or our other harvester over, and get that onto our field. The first one's over, that's full. It's weird because the sunflower contract completed, no problem. It's a little bit later. I'm on my field. First full load has gone into the silo, but that included what came off of those two contract fields, and here's where it gets really odd. Payments have been made, wrongs have been righted. I did have to step away for a few moments just to take a breath. When I came back on, the contracts were still saying they weren't complete. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to have to fail them. So normally, if you haven't delivered what you're supposed to have delivered, you get fined. I failed both of them because I had no choice but to fail both of them. There was no fine. It said you won't get paid. So I had obviously delivered everything I was supposed to because there was no missing crop. And then because I failed them, both those fields now have got the corns all back in them again. So potentially they'll come back up as harvest contracts again. I don't know. The soybean contract on field 9 that I said I was hoping was going to come up has popped up, so I've taken that on board. And a cultivating contract on field 33, which was the field I just did the sunflowering in, has come up for cultivating, and I borrowed equipment for that. So there's a big old case with twins, I think it's twins, not triples, and a large cultivator. That's just going up and down at the moment. So we'll see what we end up with off of this. The sunflower from the contract on field 11, I completed that contract. I was left with about 2,000 litres of that. So 2,000 litres of that, along with the, was it 9,000 and something from the previous sunflower contract. We've got just over 10,000 litres of sunflower in storage. That's all good. So all I'm going to do now is finish off I'll just fill over to the side. Finish off the corn harvest on my field. It's always that thing, isn't it? The build up, and then once the harvest is done on here, I've then got my mulching, my liming to do. I'm not sure what we're going to do about planting, because I don't think we're in a planting window for anything now. Well, I suppose we could do wheat or barley. We've still got wheat or barley on there. If we go down to the bottom, we've got grass and oilseed radish, so I could do a cover crop. But we could put like a winter barley in, or put one of those crops into this field if we wanted to. I'm not sure I'm going to, but we could. So what I'm going to do is empty the other harvester. I'm going to carry on cracking on with this. I will check on my cultivating job in a little while, but for all intents and purposes, that's what I wanted to get done. So I'm going to need to buy another header. I might get a slightly larger one, because I bought the Rostelmash headers that came with the Rostelmash harvesters, and I know I've got a modded draper. Again, I could use a Titan one, but that will give me a skewed result, because I want to harvest field 9, that big field with soybean in it, with my 3 harvesters, and see how much of a difference it's going to make. It's going to be a lot of unloading, which it was before, to be fair. It's that scaling up, isn't it? I had 4 harvesters, but they only had 5,000 litre capacity, so they were filling up quite quickly. But when you had 4 running, you were just trying to keep up with unloading them all. Now I've got larger headers, but you know, still a larger capacity. You know what I mean? So we'll see how that kind of works out. Hop out of there. That'll work and carry on with that. I'm going to whiz round and unload the next lot. But that'll be the next episode. So we've got that soybean harvest to do, so I can get the harvesters cracking away on that. And then we've obviously got our grapes and our olives that we're going to need to do as well. Now hopefully the soybean contract will complete. Like I say, this is the first one. Those 2 corn contracts are the first ones I've done that haven't completed for some reason. I have got another baling contract come up on field 17, which is the big field, but it's for hay this time. I generally like to pick them up when it's silage, because the silage bales are worth a lot more. But I could still do it and I'll still make money. It pays out 39 grand anyway, so it's a pretty good contract to take on. But as it stands, I'm okay with what I've got. So we'll do that. We'll do the soybean. Yeah, but that, like I say, that'll be next episode. We'll get over and check out some more of that grape technology stuff, and that olive picker. Yeah, I'm curious to see how it works and what it does, and we'll kind of go from there, really. Just into here. Going. Yeah, so I'll be out here with the mulcher.
and get mulching. I did say by the end of the episode I want to see how much we've got. This is actually it has taken a lot longer than I thought it was going to. It's now nearly 2 PM here in the UK, and I sat down to start recording this morning. So, you know, because I've done what two unsuccessful corn harvests, helianthus or sunflower harvest, second sunflower harvest, and this field, it's just taking a bit of time. That's all. But as I always say, I don't mind that. So let's see what happens. I'm pretty sure that other harvester will be full in a moment anyway. They're filling up very quickly. Oh, this is saying needs ploughing, and that's always been my my dilemma with precision farming. I know you get I suppose because you get the environmental score bonuses the other way, but if we go to our normal one and go to soil composition, if I put that on, you can see it needs to be ploughed, but ploughing is frowned upon. It's frowned upon with precision farming. So with precision farming, you do your pH, do your nitrogen, mulch, and then if you can direct drill without cultivator or anything like that, that works out a lot better, improves your environmental score. We've already gone up overall as a farm from 70 something to 86, so we're doing all right. Not that, like I said right from the start, I'm not focused on improving the environmental score. I'm not trying to get as high as I can, and it's that trade-off. Do I plough and drop my environmental score? Because ploughing is required. If you've got it on, it should be ploughed every now and again. If you don't plough, you take a bit of a hit, but are you gaining more by doing precision farming? I mean, that's, I suppose, the way you got to look at it. Yep, harvester at the top is full. So I'll see you now when this is done. It's not going to take too much longer, and then we can see how much we've got in our storage. And obviously there's the pig food situation. Like I say, I've got corn now, which was what I was intending, and we've got plenty of corn. Oh, I'm going to have to run the harvester along the top. I should have done that before, actually. Get myself a headland, and I didn't do it. Last of the corn out of the harvesters, off the field. And then, like I said, it'll be mulching and liming and stuff. I'll probably do that off camera. And then I'm just going to finish off the bit of cultivating I've got to do. And we'll see how we're looking. Pretty good, I hope. And then that soybean, I'm looking forward to immensely. See the damage. So, how we're looking. So with what was left over from the bizarre corn harvest contracts, actually that's alright, isn't it? 174,925 litres of corn. So 150 odd thousand, because we had about, was it 25,000 litres we had left over from the other contract? 97,000 litres of barley, 69 of wheat, canola 43, oat 25, sorghum 14, and then we've got about 10,000 litres of sunflower in here as well. So, another episode in the books.
And we're not done yet. We've still got more to do, as I've been saying. I hope you've enjoyed and are enjoying the journey with me. If you are, if you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.